Iran has just carried out a quiet but decisive move across the region, one most observers barely noticed. Araghchi arrived in Islamabad and, in a single day, met the foreign minister, the prime minister, and the army chief. In his hand was what Iranian media described as a practical roadmap to end the war permanently. No press spectacle, no weeks, just business. Hours later, he was airborne again. First stop, Oman, where he is now. Next destination, Moscow. But here's the part the headlines miss. The offer he delivered to Pakistan is the same one Tehran sent to Washington just 10 minutes after Trump canceled Witkoff's trip. Trump himself admitted it was much better. And now, instead of sitting in D.C., that offer is traveling east with Araghchi. America still hasn't replied. In the past 48 hours, the media has treated two stories as separate. One, Trump cancels the Pakistan trip, dismisses Iran's first offer, receives a revised version minutes later, praises it, then declares we hold all the cards. That same night, a gunman tried to breach his security at the correspondents' dinner. 2. Araghchi's diplomatic tour. Islamabad, Oman, Moscow. But the truth is, the schedule was set long before Trump canceled anything. Iran didn't scramble. They were always heading to Moscow. That 10-minute improved offer wasn't improvised. It was prepared in advance for Moscow. So it's not two stories, it's one. Iran is carrying its strongest proposal to Russia because Moscow is willing to discuss what America refuses to even touch. When Russian leaders see the terms America called much better but never sent a team to collect, they'll know what Washington still doesn't, Iran's real bottom line. And that raises the uncomfortable question, how does a country bombed for 2 months, blockaded at its ports, and deprived of its supreme leader on day one, still control the rhythm of negotiations? Still decide who sees its final terms first? Still deliver an offer America praised straight to Moscow, while Washington waits in silence? The answer is one word: Russia. Not Russia as a battlefield ally, not Russia firing missiles or sending troops. Russia as the one nation that has made itself indispensable to both sides, so much so that no negotiation can close without it. Look at the math. Every day war drags on, oil prices stay high. Every day Russia pockets an extra $15 million. That's not speculation, it's a daily dividend of chaos. Look at the leverage. Russia has openly offered to take Iran's enriched uranium, the issue that collapsed talks in Islamabad, and its terms favor Iran, not America. Russia has been supplying Iran with satellite intelligence on U.S. ship movements. In January, the two signed a 20-year strategic partnership, and now Araghchi is carrying that much better offer to Moscow, while Washington still hasn't answered. This is what I call the first receiver advantage. The real power shift becomes clear once you see why the country that hears Iran's final terms before edits and models can't recover. In general, while we know that deals with the new side, that deals are unedited and less fed up by those who want to be. That's why Araghchi's flight path matters more than anything Trump said last night. Let's revisit that 10-minute window. Trump cancels Witkoff's trip. 10 minutes later, Iran sends a revised proposal. Trump calls it much better. Headlines frame it as Iran blinking under pressure. But that's the wrong read. 10 minutes isn't enough to draft new language, clear it through Iran's National Security Council, and route it via Pakistan. It's just enough to hit send on something already prepared. Iran had that improved offer ready before Trump canceled. They were waiting for the trigger. When it came, they deployed the plan. That's not concession, it's calibration. The offer was designed to be good enough for Trump to praise, but not good enough to seal the deal. Close enough to keep talks alive, far enough to ensure no final agreement until Moscow was consulted. And now Araghchi is carrying those exact terms to Russia. Not because Moscow is the mediator, Pakistan holds that role. Oman runs the neutral channel. Moscow is Iran's strategic partner. The one country that already floated a competing solution to the uranium issue, the single unresolved point that broke Islamabad's first round. Here's what happens in Moscow. Iran shares its true bottom line, not the public version. Russia adjusts its uranium offer to match what Iran can accept. Then Russia tells Tehran, use this in the next round, we've got you covered. America won't be in that room. US intelligence knows plenty about Iran, but far less about what Iran confides to Russia under a 20-year strategic pact. That much better offer Trump praised? Russia has it now. America still hasn't replied. That gap is deliberate. It's the first receiver advantage in action. And the sequence is no accident. Pakistan equals mediator channel. Oman equals Gulf back channel. Moscow equals coordination with the one player whose uranium proposal directly challenges America's demand. The uranium issue is the deal breaker. America insists Iran's stock must leave the country under international control. Iran insists it will never hand it over. Those positions can't coexist. Then Russia stepped in. Lavrov in Beijing, Russia will accept any decision that suits Iran on enriched uranium. We are ready to reprocess it into fuel for nuclear power plants. That's the pivot. Uranium leaves Iran, America's technical demand is met. But it goes to Russia, not Washington. America claims victory, Russia becomes custodian of Iran's nuclear legacy. Iran never hands its most valuable asset to its adversary. Trump may have dismissed Russia's uranium arrangement, worried about Moscow gaining leverage, but that rejection didn't erase the offer. It remains public, validated by the Russian Foreign Ministry, and stands as a permanent alternative to whatever Washington is proposing. Now Arahachi is en route to Moscow, with a much better proposal America still hasn't answered. This is where the first receiver advantage becomes most dangerous for Washington. If Russia hears directly from Arahachi about Iran's true flexibility, years of suspension, enrichment levels, inspection regimes, it can tailor its uranium offer to match perfectly. By the time America responds through Pakistan, Iran's nuclear stance will already be aligned with Russia. Washington won't be negotiating with Iran alone, but with an Iran fresh from Moscow Council. Russia's gains as first receiver go beyond oil profits, nuclear positioning, and Gulf facilitation. The fourth advantage is intelligence, knowing Iran's negotiating floor before anyone else. That knowledge lets Russia extract maximum terms, not as charity, but as leverage. If Iran admits uranium transfer is essential but politically impossible with Washington, Russia knows exactly how indispensable its offer is. On oil, if sanctions relief or Hormuz reopening is part of the improved offer, Russia can forecast the market impact in advance, securing its own commercial position. On regional security, Russia is shaping the post-war order, deciding whether Iran emerges empowered or contained. Having Iran's private turns first allows Moscow to design that framework to fit Iran's bottom line. America, meanwhile, only hears filtered summaries through Pakistan. Optimists argue Moscow changes nothing, that Iran is simply managing optics, consulting Russia to appease hardliners, and that US intelligence already tracks Russia-Iran communications. But timing undermines that view. The 10-minute improved offer went to America via Pakistan, not to Russia. Russia receives it later, in Moscow, after Iran's delegation returned to Tehran for updating instructions. Sequence matters. Mediator first, Gulf channel second, strategic partner third. America still waits for a phone call. So watch three signals as Arahachi lands in Moscow. 1. Any joint Russia-Iran statement mentioning uranium arrangements. Proof of coordination after hearing Iran's improved terms. 2. Whether Washington publicly acknowledges the Moscow meeting. Silence would mean Russia is shaping Iran's stance unchallenged. 3. Pakistan's tone after Arahachi returns. If optimism fades into talk of structural gaps, it means Moscow influenced the terms. America praised Iran's offer as much better, but hasn't replied. Russia is about to hear those terms directly, with updated instructions tailored for Moscow. One side waits for a call, the other receives the foreign minister in person. That's the difference between negotiating from strength and negotiating from delay.